2 minutes left. $1 million blessing with your name on it. Archangel Michael says you ignored every sign before. Open now or watch it slip away forever. There are only 2 minutes left in the countdown of the spirit realm, and the sands of divine time are slipping through the unseen hourglass. A mighty voice from the heavens echoes, not in the sound of thunder, but in the trembling of your spirit. Archangel Michael, commander of celestial armies and messenger of divine warfare, now steps forward not only to warn, but to bless. The scrolls have been opened, and upon one of them is a name, your name, written in light before you were formed in your mother's womb. This is not a general message for the many. This is not a vague encouragement meant to comfort the passive. This is a clarion call, a trumpet blast in the unseen realm for the one whose spirit cannot sit still, whose chest feels the pounding urgency that this message is not by accident. This message is marked. It is specific. It is sacred. It is sealed. Here is $1 million blessing, literal and symbolic, prepared for release. It is not simply about money. It is about movement. It is about the floodgates of opportunity, the mantle of leadership, the overflow of spiritual and earthly resources. This was written long ago, and heaven has held it in place, protected, preserved, and prepared until the Kairos moment. That moment is now. A delay was not denial. The silence was not rejection. But time has run low, and heaven is issuing a final command. You've seen the signs. You've heard the whispers in dreams, the strange alignments, the moments that made no sense until now. You ignored them. You dismissed the warnings. You silenced the knowing. But now, by the mercy of the Most High, the veil is being lifted. And yet, there is a catch, a condition, a demand for obedience and silence, for stillness in the storm. This can't be received through noise or haste. It requires surrender. It requires attention. It requires the sacred pause. Not all will hear. Not all will respond. But you have been chosen to hear it now, while there is still time to respond, while the final 2 minutes remain in the spirit realm. The clock has started. The blessing is moving, and the heavens await your decision. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. Within the next 2 minutes of your obedience, everything shifts. Heed now the voice of Archangel Michael, the watcher of gates, the defender of destinies, the sword bearer of heaven. I speak not with the voice of man, but with the wind of divine fire. This is not encouragement. It is a divine intervention. The Spirit of the living God has dispatched me on your behalf, not to soothe but to awaken, not to whisper but to command, for you stand at the precipice of something earth-shattering. And I declare this to you now. You are one decision, one declaration, one surrender away from the breaking of your delay and the unlocking of $1 million miracle marked with your name. Yes, your name. There is a scroll unrolling in the heavens as we speak, and it carries your identity, your assignment, and your harvest. The ink was never erased, you were never forgotten. But your time, it was postponed. Not by heaven, but by hesitation. You looked once before. You felt the pull. You heard the call. But you turned away. You ignored the signs that lit up the path. You dismissed the nudges, the numbers, the dreams, the disruptions. You said maybe later, but later is now. The delay is no longer tolerated. The silence is no longer permitted. The spirit realm has entered its final 2 minutes, and the blessing that hath been circling your life, waiting for your agreement, is preparing to descend or depart. This is the realm of divine urgency. There is no coincidence that you are hearing this now. This very moment has been orchestrated by heaven. Your spirit has been pulled here because the window is thinning, and the release must be received or rerouted. This is not a message for the many. It is not designed for the lukewarm or distracted. This is for you, the one whose soul cannot stop trembling, whose heart is racing, who knows deep within that this message is more than words on a screen. It's a spiritual summons. I, Archangel Michael, stand beside you now in the spirit. I have drawn my sword on your behalf. I have battled for your timeline. I have warred through territories you could not see, just to deliver you to this moment of decision. But what happens next is not in my hands. It is in yours. Heaven cannot release what earth does not receive, and earth cannot receive what the spirit does not respond to. So here is the command. In the next 2 minutes, obey. Whether the obedience looks like silence, surrender, prayer, or bold declaration, do it. Move in agreement. Speak what heaven has already stamped, because everything around you is about to shift. And if you hesitate again, you may not see this window return. You ignored the signs before, but grace has called you back. And this time, the full weight of heaven is behind your yes. This is not just about you. It is about the generations waiting on your obedience, the nations your voice will impact, the financial freedom assigned to your name, the glory that must be revealed through you. You are not empty. You are not too late. You are on divine time. If you move now, the 2-minute countdown is spiritual, not symbolic, and it has already begun. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. They saw the glimpse but not the whole glory. There is a moment, one you cannot explain, where everything begins to shake without warning. The dreams feel strange, out of place. The clocks flash the same numbers again and again. The disruptions in your life come suddenly, violently, leaving you wondering what invisible hand is moving the pieces behind the scenes. And still you question, was that really a sign? Did heaven really speak? Was the disruption divine? Yes, it was. All of it was. For too long, you've second-guessed what your spirit already confirmed. You've dismissed the spiritual nudges as coincidence, the delays as bad timing, the whispers in the night as imagination. But now, Archangel Michael speaks to reveal the truth. You were not wrong. You were not imagining it. Heaven has been speaking, and the signals were divine. The dreams you couldn't shake. That wasn't your mind wondering. It was the spirit trying to reveal what was sealed. The repeated numbers, 111, 444, 555, were not digital accidents. They were prophetic timestamps. The betrayals, the random breakdowns, the appointments canceled at the last second. These weren't bad luck. They were spiritual interventions. Detours designed to reroute you toward the blessing prepared long ago. But here's where it cuts deeper. They knew. Yes, some around you sensed it. They saw your light flickering, your destiny rising, your path marked by something they couldn't fully name. So they whispered. So they tried to delay you. They questioned you to distract you. They celebrated your presence while secretly fearing your ascension. Some even prophesied falsely over you, not to edify, but to suppress, because they saw just enough of the blessing to envy it, but not enough to honor it. And so the emotional disruption intensified. The people closest to you misunderstood your hunger. The ones you trusted betrayed your timing. The voices you leaned on became the echoes of confusion. And yet through every emotional fire, heaven recorded it. Through every ignored sign, through every delay, the angels still stood watch. The blessing was never removed. It was only hidden until your spirit became unshakable enough to respond now. But here's the deeper truth. This isn't the first time the window opened. You know it. You felt it back then. The shift, the sign, the dream, the call. But fear stepped in. Logic overruled. Timing felt woe. And so, you turned back. You missed it. But the mercy of God is this: He has brought it back around. One final time. This time it will not be missed. This time the confusion ends. This time the whispers turn to silence. This time the blessing doesn't pass by, but only if you move. Because the realm is still moving. There are conversations happening about you in rooms you haven't entered yet. There are names being spoken, your name, in atmospheres you never applied for. There is a $1 million blessing, both literal and symbolic, circling your life. But it is fragile. It is alive. It is moving with divine speed. You can feel the urgency in your body, the tears that come without warning, the goosebumps at the sound of this word. That is your spirit catching up to the truth your heart couldn't hold last time. But now you must do what you didn't do before. You must recognize the divine disruption for what it is, a sign of your next dimension. Type "I receive this warning" in the comments if you know this is your confirmation. Blessing code 777 is manifesting around you. Before we continue, let me speak to the one who feels the fire stirring. If this message is confirming what your spirit already knew, and you're ready to help this word reach those still asleep, this is your divine assignment. Every seed you sow, whether through Super Thanks, YouTube membership, or PayPal, is a key that unlocks another soul's awakening. God says in His Word, He gives seed to the sower and bread to the eater, and that seed you carry may be someone else's miracle in waiting. I heard this in the Spirit. You are not giving to a platform. You are fueling a move of God. Let your giving today be a prophetic act. Be the one who helps light spread through darkness, who lets the oil flow, who opens the floodgates for others. This is not a suggestion. This is an invitation into the flow of heaven. Support now. Give boldly. Step into the harvest. PayPal link is in the video description. Your seed will not return void. It will return as a multiplied blessing. Sow it in faith. Sow it in fire. Sow it now. What delayed you, trained you. What betrayed you, marked you. What broke you, built you. Listen carefully. The silence you walked through, that brutal, heavy silence from heaven, was not abandonment. It was preparation. The betrayal you endured was not the collapse of favor. It was the confirmation of it. The delay wasn't denial. It was divine warfare over your destiny. Archangel Michael now reveals what your natural eyes could not see. You were in a war, not a waiting room. And every second you thought was wasted was actually a countdown to power. Every no, every delay, every closed door, every ignored prayer, it wasn't rejection. It was protection. Because what was coming to you was too big, too holy, too heavy to be placed in unready hands. The Spirit of the Lord says, you were not delayed because you failed. You were delayed because the atmosphere had to be cleared. The warfare had to break. The watchers had to be silenced. You thought God was ignoring you. But the truth is, heaven was watching over you more closely than ever. The angels were surrounding your house. Your tears were caught in bowls. Your sighs, your groans, your late-night "why God?" cries, none of it was lost. It was recorded. It was stored. It was seen. The silence of heaven is not the absence of God. It is often the tension of transformation. When heaven is quiet, it's because the blueprint is being rewritten. It's because angelic reinforcements are shifting territories. And in your life, there was a great shift happening. There was a cleansing, a purging, a refining, because the blessing you are about to step into is not a small miracle. It is a divine economic, emotional, and spiritual reversal, a $1 million anointing, sealed and approved, waiting only for one thing, your readiness. A betrayal. It was never random. It came from those close because only proximity can pierce that deeply. The enemy always uses the familiar, not to break you, but to expose your resilience. That betrayal was not a detour. It was a doorway. Because only those who are marked for much are targeted that violently. You didn't suffer because you were weak, you suffered because you were dangerous. The enemy knew what was coming. The enemy saw glimpses of your crown and tried to crush you before you realized who you were. That's why the attacks came early. That's why the warfare hit harder. That's why the delay felt so long, because it was never about just holding you back. It was about convincing you to give up before the blessing arrived. But you didn't. You may have wept, but you didn't quit. You may have staggered, but you didn't surrender. And now, Archangel Michael declares, heaven is rewarding your endurance. This is the hour of prophetic reversal. The very weapons formed against you are now becoming the tools for your promotion. The voices that doubted you are being silenced by your rise. The doors that closed are reopening on new hinges. But hear this warning again, the next 2 minutes still matter. Even now, in this moment, your decision is birthing what the warfare tried to abort. What you thought was the end was only the beginning. What you thought disqualified you has become your divine qualification. What the enemy meant for evil, heaven is turning it around. So lift your head. Stop mourning what left. Stop asking why they betrayed you. Stop waiting for explanations. Your destiny is not behind you. It is ahead of you, rushing like a river, ready to crash into your obedience. The spiritual war was always over what's coming, and now it is here. Type "I am still standing" in the comments if you feel this truth awakening inside of you. Blessing code 888 is now opening your next chapter. Within 2 minutes of decision, the blessing secures or slips away. The time is no longer stretching. The hourglass of the Spirit has nearly emptied. I speak to you now as the voice of Archangel Michael, dispatched from the throne room of heaven, with a word of final urgency. This is not a delay. This is a divine deadline. You have only moments, holy, weighty, heaven-measured moments, before the atmosphere around your life shifts permanently. And what you do in these next spiritual seconds will secure your blessing or allow it to pass you by forever. Let the gravity of this hit your spirit. There's a $1 million blessing, real, tangible, kingdom-backed, with your name sealed upon it. It was written before your birth, before the struggle, before the betrayal. And now, after decades of divine orchestration, this blessing has arrived at your gate. But it cannot break in. It requires your decision to open the door. Heaven will not force what must be freely received. You must answer. You must respond. You must move. Now, even as this message reaches you, I tell you the truth. There are forces watching, waiting, hoping you stay passive one more time. Hoping you delay just enough for the blessing to be rerouted. They do not want you to answer this moment. Why? Because this blessing isn't just about wealth. It's not just money. It's movement. It's dominion. It's a generational shift. If you step into this blessing, the ripple effects will shatter every curse your bloodline has carried. If you say yes in these final 2 minutes, the chains that bound your parents will break. The ceilings that capped your potential will shatter. The doors that refused to open for years will fly off the hinges. This is why the warfare has intensified. This is why the attacks came back to back. The enemy of your soul force of the moment you are in right now and tried to assassinate it before it arrived. But he failed. You're still here. Still breathing. Still standing. And now the question remains, will you choose differently this time? You didn't stumble onto this word. You were led here. Gone here. This is not a coincidence. It is a crossroads. It is the place where heaven waits on earth to agree. Where angels watch for movement. Where the prophetic promise either roots into your reality or lifts and finds another vessel. The blessing is alive. It has motion. And it is hovering over your life, waiting for a command from your mouth, an act of your will, a shift in your posture. Speak it. Claim it. Move with it. Because if you do nothing, the countdown will expire, and the scroll will return to heaven sealed and unfulfilled. Yes, others hoped you'd miss it. They bet against your awakening. They sowed seeds of doubt, hoping your spirit would never rise. But now you have a choice. Prove them right, or prove heaven true. Because the atmosphere around you is cracking open with prophetic electricity. I feel the tension in the spirit as timelines are colliding. Something is being written even now in your future, either the glory of your breakthrough or the grief of another missed moment. I am not here to convince. I am not here to debate. I am here to declare, you have 2 minutes in the unseen realm to respond with faith, obedience, and surrender. This message is your confirmation. It is your last warning. The door is open now, but not for long. You've missed it before, but this is your final window. Don't watch it slip away again. Type "I refuse to miss IT" in the comments if you know this is your turn. Blessing code 911 is releasing urgent victory into your situation. Be still now. Archangel Michael fights while you remain silent. There is a moment in spiritual warfare when your voice is not your weapon, your silence is. You've spoken enough. You prayed, you cried, you begged. You declared and decreed. But now comes the sacred stillness. not the stillness of defeat, but the stillness of divine strategy. Archangel Michael speaks, stand down in the natural, so heaven can stand up in the supernatural. You are not being asked to fight. You are being commanded to align. This moment in your timeline is not about striving. It is about receiving. What's coming cannot be won through noise, distraction, or emotional frenzy. What's about to be released into your life is too holy, too massive, too heavy to be delivered into chaos. It must arrive in peace, in purity, in silence. And that is your command now. Be still. This silence is not weakness. It is your armor. It is the signal to heaven that you trust the war is not yours. It is the surrender that unlocks the sword of the Archangel. It is the posture of those who are covered, not confused. Those who walk into battle while heaven surrounds them. For the enemy is prowling, hoping you open your mouth in frustration, hoping you give in to fear, hoping you react in the flesh. But you will not. You will not forfeit the blessing with your own words. Not this time. You don't need to explain yourself anymore. You don't need to go back and prove your worth. You don't need to address the whispers, respond to the accusations, or defend the delay. Your silence will speak louder than anything they say, because the Lord is fighting for you. Michael has been released, and where he is sent, no plan of the enemy survives. So here's what you do: pray, then hush, align your spirit, then rest, worship in stillness, and wait. Because the activity of heaven has intensified around you. There are angels on assignment, not just to deliver your blessing but to protect it, to shield it until it is placed into your hands. This is not a blessing for noise. This is a sacred scroll, and it must be received with honor. The $1 million blessing is not only financial, it is responsibility, territory, dominion. It is too weighty for flesh to touch. So heaven demands that you let go of noise, distraction, urgency, and pride. There's a difference between urgent action and impulsive reaction. Archangel Michael says, move when I say move, but until then, say nothing, fear nothing, and assume nothing. Because even now, behind the veil, warfare is intensifying. There are principalities being shattered in your name. There are demonic timelines being broken apart. There are legal decrees being reversed. But all of this is happening in silence. Can you trust heaven enough to say nothing while the war is still raging? Can you be still even when everything in your flesh wants to panic, post, or pursue answers? Because in this sacred stillness, the blessing is protected. The stillness is the womb of manifestation. It is the secret place where the miracle is finished before it even touches your hands. And here is what you need to know. No one can steal what heaven has sealed. But you must remain undercover. The moment you step out of alignment, the enemy will attempt to confuse and delay. So stay under. Stay surrendered. Stay hidden in the spirit. Michael is fighting. Your silence is your signal. Your victory is not loud, it is holy. Type I will be still in the comments if you're ready to trust heaven's strategy. Blessing code 4444 is now forming a wall of protection around your destiny. You are no longer the one who missed the signs. You are the one who learned how to see. Listen carefully now, because the air around your spirit is shifting. Heaven is not just moving toward you, It's moving through you. The silence is ending, not because the war is over, but because you have changed. You are not the same person who missed the first signs. You are not the same soul who ignored the first whispers, who overlooked the early warnings. You are rebuilt, reshaped, and reborn in the fire. You are no longer simply waiting for the blessing. You have become the vessel worthy to carry it. I, Archangel Michael, now declare this over you. The fire did not consume you. It forged you. The delay did not disqualify you. It disciplined you. The betrayal did not break you. It built you into the very gate the enemy could not enter. And now, your spirit has grown wings, not of weakness, but of warrior flight. Wings that rise above the noise. Wings that cut through confusion. Wings that lift you out of the cycles that once enslaved you. You see, there is a moment in every warrior's journey where pain becomes power, where wounds become weapons, where the ashes beneath your feet become the launch pad for divine acceleration. And you, right now, are standing in that moment, no longer a victim, no longer on the run, no longer explaining your pain, but now commanding your purpose. You used to cry and wonder why. Now you speak and the atmosphere answers. You use it to question the delay. Now you discern the divine pacing. You used to crave validation. Now you know your crown. This is what the fire was for. This is what the storm was shaping. This is why it took so long, not because God forgot you, but because God was forming something unstoppable in you. And now, I say this with divine authority, you are ready. The $1 million blessing is not just coming to your bank account. It is flowing through your mindset, your posture, your discernment, your identity. You are the blessing. The door is not just opening to you. You are becoming the door for others. The delay wasn't the end. It was the birthing room. The silence wasn't absence. It was God whispering to the parts of you no one else could reach. Can you feel the fire now? It's not burning you. It's igniting you. This is why you didn't die in the depression. This is why the betrayal didn't finish you. This is why the door that slammed in your face only redirected you to a room that was already yours. Heaven is not handing out second chances. Heaven is confirming that you are not who you were when you missed the first one. You are stronger. You are wiser. You are lighter. You are risen. So walk with your head high now. Not in pride, but in power. Not in ego, but in elevation. You are moving different. Speaking different. Expecting different. And that's because you finally see yourself the way heaven always saw you. That is the real blessing. It is not just about what you receive, it's about who you've become to carry it. Type "I have been transformed" in the comments if you know this word was written for your spirit. Blessing code 1010 is now unlocking your elevation. The $1 million blessing is not a metaphor. It is manifestation. Now that your spirit has risen, now that your discernment has awakened, and now that the old version of you has been left behind in the ashes, I can finally release what has been hidden until now. Hear me clearly, for I speak not of symbols only, but of substance. This blessing, this $1 million blessing, is literal and prophetic, both financial and spiritual, both visible and supernatural. It has your name on it. It has always had your name on it. But it could not descend until you became the version of yourself worthy to carry it without worshiping it. This is not just about money. This is about mission. This is not just about financial overflow. This is about divine restoration. Yes, there is increase coming to your life, sudden, undeniable, unexplainable increase. But this increase has a prophetic assignment. Heaven is not just making you rich in currency. Heaven is making you rich in impact, purpose, credibility, power, and divine positioning. The Spirit of the Lord says, I am not just releasing money, I am releasing mandate. This blessing is a key that unlocks doors, not just in the natural realm, but in realms of influence you've never dared to imagine. You will walk into rooms and atmospheres will shift. You will speak and contracts will manifest. You will sit at tables that legacy tried to keep you from. And every single moment will be marked with this truth: God did this. Let this be your confirmation. The delay was because the size of the blessing was too large for your last level. If it had come then, it would have crushed you. If it had arrived before the betrayal, before the testing, before the wilderness, you would have spent it without strategy, moved without discernment, and walked without weight. But now your hands are steady. Your mind is clear. Your purpose is anchored. Now you are ready to carry what carries others. This $1 million blessing is not just money in a bank. It is opportunities opening at once. It is supernatural favor magnetized to your name. It is divine recognition by the ones who once overlooked you. It is restoration of time, repayment of what was stolen, and reward for what was suffered. It is back pay in the spirit realm, and it has finally cleared into your timeline. But don't mistake this blessing for luck. It is not luck, it is prophetic release. It is heaven's repayment for hell's harassment. It is not something you stumbled into. It is something you were marked for. And hear this. The number is significant. 1 million, not just because of wealth, but because of weight. 1 million means systems must bow. It means institutions take notice. It means structures cannot ignore the one who was once silenced. Heaven is not just giving you currency. Heaven is giving you credibility. And with it comes authority. Not the kind you demand, but the kind you become. The blessing is not coming. It's here. And it's looking for why yes. Not a timid yes. Not a maybe later. Not a conditional yes. A full surrender, full speed, full faith yes that opens every gate and activates every angel assigned to your next level. So now, speak what you once feared. Declare what you once doubted. Believe what you once buried. Because this time, the million is not a number. It is your confirmation. Type I receive my $1 million blessing in the comments if your faith knows this is the moment. Blessing code 1313 is now transferring divine resources to your life. If this word is confirming the fire already burning in your belly, if you feel the weight of glory behind every line, then this is your divine invitation to stand with us. Not just as a listener, but as a kingdom warrior and financial partner. Every time you sow, whether through Super Thanks, YouTube membership, or PayPal, you're not giving to a voice, you're fueling a move of God. Heaven says in Isaiah 60:11, your gates shall be open continually that men may bring to you the wealth of the nations. You are not just a hearer of the word, you are becoming a gate for others. So let your giving open heaven for someone else. Let your seed break chains. Let it multiply, return, and overflow. Give now. Move prophetically. Obey the stirring. PayPal link is in the description, and so is your moment to act. Do not delay. Be part of the revival. This is your moment of activation. Not a feeling, not a theory. A moment in the eternal realm where everything you suffered, everything you've questioned, and everything you've seen in dreams is waiting to become reality, but it hinges on your response. The angels have drawn near. The scroll has been unsealed. The $1 million blessing is hovering within reach. But here's the truth. Heaven never releases what earth refuses to agree with. You must now move from hope to declaration, from silence to command, from waiting to warring with your words. Your destiny will not respond to passivity. It will not be unlocked by silence. It will not bend to indecision. This is not the season to wonder, is this really for me? This is not the hour to doubt your place at the table. This is not the moment to look around and ask for another sign. The sign is this word. The sign is this fire in your chest. The sign is your spirit trembling as you hear these words. I speak to the warrior in you now, not the wounded version, not the silent version, not the confused version, but the fire-baptized, blood-bought, chosen for the sour version of you. Stand up. Speak up. Activate. For you have crossed over from waiting to war, from hoping to harvesting, from barely surviving to violently advancing. And now, you must open your mouth and declare what is already written in heaven's book concerning you. The window is not symbolic. It is alive in the spirit. And right now, it is closing as fast as it opened. If you hesitate, the blessing will search for another vessel. If you delay, the door will close again. But if you declare, with faith, with authority, with violent belief, then heaven will seal this blessing to your timeline, and no power in hell or on earth will be able to remove it. This is why the battle hath been so intense. The warfare wasn't about what you lost, it was about what you're about to gain. And this is why the decision must come from your lips. Because your destiny is voice activated. You must say it. You must claim it. You must decree it. Do not sit in silence and expect angels to move. Do not wait on another prophecy when the word has already been spoken. This is your prophecy. This is your confirmation. This is your activation code. The clock in the spirit realm is still ticking, and the final seconds are upon you. But the beauty of this moment is that you do not need to know how. You only need to say, "Yes, Lord. Yes to my blessing. Yes to my season. Yes to the shift." Heaven does not require your plan, only your permission. What's waiting on the other side of your yes is not just money. It's territory. It's access. It's redemption. It's every door that refused to open until now, opening at once. It's every promise delayed being released on divine time. It's every tear collected, returning now in multiplied joy. Do not watch this moment pass again. You are not the same version of yourself who missed it before. You are awake. You are aware. You are ready. So speak it now. Speak it as if angels are listening, because they are. Declare it as if the atmosphere will shift, because it will. Command it as if the blessing is waiting for your voice, because it is. This moment is yours. Seize it. Activate it. Command it. Type "I activate my destiny" in the comments if you're ready to pull heaven to earth. Blessing code 5555 is now unlocked. While you were weeping, heaven was working. Right now, in realms unseen by mortal eyes, an exchange is taking place. Not in noise, not in ceremony, but in deep, sacred silence. And in that silence, your name has been spoken, not by men, but by angels, archangels, and the righteous judge himself. This is not poetic. This is not metaphor. This is a transaction in the throne room, where the tears you cried in secret have now become the currency of restoration. The Spirit of the living God wants you to know this. What you thought was lost is being returned. What you believed was delayed is being delivered. And what you feared was dead is being resurrected, even now. Can you sense it? This isn't imagination. Your spirit feels it before your eyes can see it. There's a quickening in your body, a pressure in your chest, a heat rising as if something is being pressed upon your timeline. That's not emotion. That's divine movement. Because heaven doesn't wait for your logic. It responds to your surrender. And since you gave heaven your yes, in prayer, in brokenness, in faith that didn't make sense, the realm above you has begun its reversal. Archangel Michael speaks. What was stolen is being located. What was delayed is being released. What was blocked is being cleared. And your name hath been written on the scroll of return. Do not be fooled by what you see in the natural. You are not waiting on breakthrough. Breakthrough is waiting on full manifestation. The release already began. While you were battling doubt, heaven was finalizing details. While you were silent, heaven was loud in intercession over your future. While you wept over closed doors, angels were opening better ones. While your faith flickered, God's faithfulness never wavered. There has been a silent exchange, a supernatural transfer of things stolen from you in previous seasons. Every time someone falsely accused you, heaven wrote it down. Every time your obedience cost you relationships, heaven sealed it with favor. Every missed opportunity you were qualified for but passed over is being resurrected in your favor. The ledgers of injustice are being balanced. And as the books are opened in the Spirit, the scales are tipping toward you. This is why the urgency came. This is why the message found you now. Because the timing of this divine exchange is critical. Heaven cannot pour into a closed heart. The blessing cannot settle on a passive spirit. That's why the Lord had to shake you, waken you, break you open, to make room. And now that the space has been made, the silence is speaking louder than words ever could. Let me reveal the mystery. While others thought you were standing still, you were actually being repositioned. While they laughed, you were being lifted. While they whispered, heaven was writing. While they blotted, angels were building. While you mourned, the transfer began. And what's coming to you is not equal to what was taken. It's rare. It's multiplied. It's measured by what only heaven saw. You are not receiving repayment by man's measure. You are being rewarded by heaven's remembrance. Every unspoken sacrifice, every hidden obedience, every painful yes, every surrendered dream, it's all been tallied, and now it's being transferred. You are not empty. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are in the middle of a silent transaction where destiny is overtaking delay, and favor is overtaking loss. Let the world keep watching in silence. Let heaven finish the transaction in glory. Your only assignment now. Stay aligned. Stay surrendered. Stay ready. Type "I receive the transfer" in the comments if you feel the movement in your spirit. Blessing code 1616 is now finalizing divine transactions in your favor. Now comes the moment when heaven takes vengeance not on your behalf alone, but on behalf of every destiny delayed, every promise postponed, every tear dismissed by human hands. This is not vengeance birthed from anger. It is justice birthed from holiness. The righteous judge has risen from his seat, and the gavel has struck in the spirit. I, Archangel Michael, tell you now, the verdict has been rendered. The reversal has begun. Everything that was working against you is now turning around to work for you. You may not see it with your eyes yet, but the shift is already in motion. Those who lied about you will now have to witness your elevation. Those who sabotaged your access are watching heaven rebuild your platform in front of them. The same mouths that tried to curse you will now be silenced by your rise. They mocked you when you waited. They whispered when you wept. But heaven kept waiting. Every act of dishonor is now turning into fuel for your public reward. The Lord declares, I will prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemies. Not away from them. In front of them. Why? Because this blessing is not just about breakthrough, it's about public justice. The same way Joseph was promoted from prison to palace in front of the very kingdom that falsely accused him, so shall you be elevated in the territory that tried to erase you. The spiritual scales are balancing. The weight of injustice is being reversed. This is not only the season of recovery, this is the season of revenge by righteousness. But don't misunderstand. This is not your fight to win. It is heaven's justice to serve. You do not have to lift a finger. You do not need to argue. You do not need to explain. You need only to stand, wait, and receive what is rightfully yours. The trap the enemy set for you, they will fall into themselves. The very weapon they forged in secret will now backfire in public. Not by your hand, but by heaven's decree. The curse they spoke, heaven is reversing it now. The spiritual surveillance that tracked your every move to sabotage your future, heaven has now seized it as evidence, and the verdict is favor. The judgment is restoration. The ruling is overflow, inheritance vindication. What was once used against you will now become the very thing heaven uses to bless you. That failed business idea, it's being resurrected with divine breath. That relationship that ended in betrayal, it was heaven's way of pruning your circle. That closed door, it was never rejection. It was redirection into something they couldn't steal. Even now, the sound of reversal is echoing in the spirit realm. The wind is shifting directions, and as it blows, it is carrying divine restitution, long-awaited promotions, sudden repayment, and rapid favor into your life. Not one seed has gone unseen. Not one sacrifice has gone unrewarded. The enemy thought they had you buried, but they didn't know you were a seed. And now, you are sprouting in full bloom, right in the land they tried to dry up. This is not a small reversal. This is a heaven-sized upheaval of everything that tried to delay your destiny. They tried to hold your blessing. They tried to hide your name. They tried to silence your voice. But heaven has the final say, and this say is justice wrapped in acceleration. So stand still and watch. The God of justice is not coming. He's already here. The reversal is not on its way. It's already in progress. Type "My justice is here" in the comments if you feel heaven tipping the scales in your favor. Blessing code 1212 is restoring what was stolen and multiplying what was lost. You ignored it before, but this is the last time the blessing will wait. There is a holy silence hovering now, not from delay, not from confusion, but from the weight of what's been released. The $1 million blessing has been spoken. The scrolls have been opened. The heavens have issued their decree. You are no longer in the waiting room of your life. You are standing at the gate of manifestation. And Archangel Michael declares this final word over you now. You ignored the signs before, but the mercy of God has extended your moment. This is your last call. The countdown is in its final seconds. The blessing will not circle back again. You can feel it, can't you? That trembling inside of you isn't fear, it's divine confirmation. That heat rising in your chest is not nerves, it's the fire of heaven pressing in, urging you, shaking you, compelling you to make the move you refused before. This is not hype. This is not hope. This is prophecy unfolding in real time. Your name has not only been remembered, it's been resurrected in heavenly chambers. Angels have carried your name before the throne and marked your case as now active. And what does that mean? It means your harvest has come due. It means what was written is now being witnessed. It means the blessing is no longer pending. It is present. But hear me, and hear me well. This moment is sacred and it is brief. The delay of yesterday will not be tolerated tomorrow. What heaven is offering today must be claimed today. No more hesitation. No more praying over what you've already been told. No more circling the same mountain asking for more signs. The final 2 minutes of the spirit realm countdown have come, and the window will not stay open much longer. This is your sealing moment. Your affirmation. Your crossing over. What the enemy tried to bury in silence, God is now crowning in fire. And now, you must do the final act of faith. Receive it. Speak it. Seal it. Walk in it. You are blessed. You are chosen. You are seen. You are protected. You are elevated. You are no longer the one who missed it. You are the one who moved in time. Now rise, anointed one. Walk boldly into the future that was nearly stolen. Carry the mantle of restoration with fire in your eyes and glory in your step. The $1 million blessing is not just wealth, it's weight. And it has been placed on you. You have been sealed, seen, and set. Type "I am walking in my final blessing" in the comments if you know this was your divine moment. Blessing code 2020 is now activated. What was last is now first. And now, as we close this sacred word, if you feel the power of this message igniting your soul, I urge you, don't just receive, respond. This is your chance to stand in the flow of this move of God, not just for yourself, but for every soul who still needs this awakening. When you sow into this message, whether through Super Thanks, YouTube membership, or directly through PayPal, you are fueling the global release of prophetic truth. This isn't a donation. It's a divine partnership. Heaven is moving, and this message is the trumpet, but it needs warriors like you to keep the sound alive. The word says in Proverbs 11:25, "A generous soul will prosper, and he who refreshes others will himself be refreshed." Let your seed become someone else's rescue. Let your giving become your breakthrough. The PayPal donation link is in the description. Move boldly. Give prophetically. Release what's in your hand so heaven can release what's in God's. Now is the moment.